countdowns always put so much pressure. So, um, welcome, Claire, to the Reframe podcast. Wow, that feels
Hi.
really like official, like transparency moment. You are my first guest on my podcast.
Yes. That's so exciting.
I know. I've been on guests on other people's podcasts, but
Mhm.
not this is my first time here. So, yeah. So would you introduce yourself just so everybody knows who you are?
I would love to. So I am Claire Paniccia. My pronouns are she, they. Either one is totally fine. I am a business coach for neurodivergent online business owners. I am the founder of the Neurodiverse Entrepreneur Summit and my end of the group program, Brain Friendly Business. Well, my
Thank you.
headphones just said battery low. Shit.
That's rude. No, thank you for that. And also I was like, I want her to say her last name so bad because even though you like did it like phonetically on your website, I was like, I think it sounds like it looked like Panacea.
hmm
Is that right? Okay.
Panacea, yeah.
Panacea. So I missed a consonant or a little thing there. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, let's just dive into it. Obviously this came about because I couldn't not jump at the opportunity when you were like, when I was filling out the speaker information, you're like, do you want me to be a guest on your podcast as part of the promo? Yes. Did I have a booking link? No. So it was like one of those like moments where it's kind of the best, right? When something like forces you to do something that's on your list.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so like I was like, I can't pass up this opportunity. So how did you get into like identifying that you are helping neurodivergent or people who don't fit the mold? Like how did that kind of come about?
Yeah, so my whole journey was kind of backwards.
Yeah.
So I started out my business like 10-ish years ago, and I was doing SEO for travel bloggers.
Hmm.
And I liked SEO in like a nerdy autistic way. I didn't know I
Mhm.
was autistic yet, but
Sure.
looking back, that's definitely what was going on. And
There's always something you look back and you're like,
there's
oh.
oh yeah. Oh, there's so many things.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, looking back on my childhood, I'm like, how did nobody realize
I
that
know.
I was autistic as fuck?
Like so many
Um,
signs now.
oh my God. I mean, it's the same thing with like gender identity and sexuality as
Yes.
well. So
Yeah.
lol.
Yeah. And it's all like
Um,
such a journey.
yo, yeah. It's all a journey of learning about yourself. Anyway, so I was doing SEO for travel bloggers, and then I pivoted into content strategy for solopreneurs. And then I was doing content marketing strategy, and then I learned about summits. And so I figured out that I was neurodivergent, specifically ADHD, around the same time that I started my business, that I
Mhm.
started being full time in the online business space.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of building my business and like learning about content strategy and then becoming a content strategist
Right.
with that kind of ADHD stuff in mind. And then I learned about summits and I was like, I want to host the Neurodiverse Entrepreneur Summit. I want to be the go to person for neurodiverse entrepreneurs. I don't know why. It's not relevant to what I do, but I want it. And then I hosted the first Neurodiverse Entrepreneur Summit in 2022. And then hosted the second one in 2023 and was starting to develop this reputation. And around then is when I started talking about more than just content strategy, and it just
Yeah.
kind of organically started happening because I was making a summit about business stuff in
Yeah.
general. And so I started talking about more than just content strategy. And then over time I kind of looked around at my business and was like, oh, I'm not really a content strategist anymore. I'm
Yeah.
a lot more than that now.
Yeah.
Huh.
That
And
kind of
then
went
in
away.
2024, I finally like embraced it and started calling myself a business coach and launched my first group coaching program and all of that. And now here we are. And it
Yeah.
is this year is going to be the 5th ever Neurodiverse Entrepreneur Summit.
Exciting.
Very, very excited for
Yes.
that. I'm revamping a lot of stuff for that.
Yeah.
And it's been wild because the summit was actually the first. I did a lot of research to confirm this before claiming it.
Yeah.
But the Neurodiverse Entrepreneur Summit, my summit, was the first summit that was, or the first event online, specific, like free event online specifically for neurodivergent online business owners. There
Wow.
was nothing like it on the
Yeah.
internet. And now,
Yeah.
5 years later, there are loads of them that
Yeah.
popping up all over the place. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I was the
I'm
first.
I'm a
I'm cool.
trendsetter. Yes. No, but that's so
um,
cool. Like,
yeah.
you knew you wanted to do it, and it didn't exactly fit. Like, if someone was a traditional, like, guru business coach would probably be like, "Well, your offer suite is this. This doesn't really make
Yeah.
sense."
It's
But,
not
like, you
really
were
aligned with your
yeah,
goals.
like, where is it going for you? What is it building towards?
Hmm.
Um, but, like, you did it, and it seems like it really just worked out, and I think that's just really cool. Like, an instance of, like,
Yeah,
you
it
listened to yourself and
Yeah, exactly. It was one of those things. It was one of those moments, and I think we all experience this of like a very once in a while, you experience this like really deep inner knowing with a capital K knowing.
yes,
And
yes,
it was one of those moments where I was like, I will host the summit and it will be about this. And I will be the go to for neurodivergent entrepreneurs. And I don't know why, but it is
yeah,
what's going to happen now.
yeah, and
And it definitely, I always talk about like, especially for those of us who are ADHD, I always talk about your business is going to evolve with you over time. And I think of it like a Pokemon. Like it's still your business and you're still you and like you're still your brand, but it's going to evolve over time. And
mm,
that's fine and normal. That's
yeah,
fine and normal and good.
yeah. Well, and I think that's like we're talking about and kind of joking about, but it's, like, counterintuitive, I think, to especially if you came into the online space, like, late 2019, 2018, and then, like,
Mhm.
rode the COVID wave. I think and
That
we're
was
seeing
not me.
yeah, yeah, well,
COVID was bad for me.
oh, okay, so, yeah. So we all but, like, in the last few years, like, there's just been this rhetoric that, like, I don't know, like, you just follow this path or you find your niche and it's, like, one and done and very neurotypical advice,
Yeah, that's how
and
people talk about it.
yeah, and I'm just like, "No." Like, before I even knew
Mm-mm.
I was just like, "This doesn't I can't do it. Why can't I do it?" And you're thinking it's a you
Mhm.
problem. And that's the
Mhm.
thing is you're like, "Oh, why can't I do this? Why can't I this coach is telling me I should do this," or, "Why can't
Mhm.
these strategies work for me?" And then you learn and you're like, "Oh."
Mhm.
My brain is like, "Boop, boop, 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 boop," all the time. So,
Yeah.
of course, my
Yeah.
business isn't gonna be like, I do this one thing all the time, every day.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is something that I have a lot of conversations with people about because niching is such a like
It's
spicy topic
it
for a
is.
lot of people, especially like those who identify as multi-passionate or have lots of interests. My general philosophy is that like it's good to start narrow in the beginning just to give you focus while you're learning what running a business looks like. And
Mm,
so you're not simultaneously figuring out business stuff while also figuring out who you are.
yeah,
um and then like once you've kind of got like what a business is down, then start like layering in different parts of you.
yeah,
I also think of niching very differently than a lot of people. I think of niching less as like I do X for Y people.
mhm,
That's so fucking boring. And
yeah,
it leads to so many people saying, I help women fill in the blank title with blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but why? As a
but yeah,
non binary person, I really don't like that. Because
sure,
I'm like, I bet they would love to work with me. And because they said that, they're not going to, and they don't
yeah,
even realize.
yeah, and that's important.
Regardless,
Yeah,
anyway, that's
yeah,
a whole other can of worms. Um,
important
I
one
think
though.
of niching more as like a Venn diagram between your personality,
Mhm.
your area of expertise, and like I can't remember what the third one is, but there was
Like
a third
market,
one.
maybe? Like
No,
need?
I was like your like thought leadership, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's, I would venture a guess that anyone who is business coach adjacent in the neurodivergent space, we probably all have, because I don't identify as a business coach yet, or maybe, but adjacent. And I think we
Mhm.
all probably have our own takes on what niching is because we all had
Mhm.
it shoved down our throats some certain way.
Yeah.
And so we are like, no, I reject this. I'm gonna come up with my
Yeah.
own. And I similar to you, and I've had these conversations lately too with people just like in groups I'm in, and we can just get really stuck, especially if you're literal, like some of us are. When people say you need to niche something, you think it has to be your whole business.
Yeah.
And my philosophy is niche like an offer,
Mhm.
like be
Mhm.
really specific on what this one thing
Oh,
you're doing.
that was the third one. Your
See,
people,
yes,
your
like,
personality, your expertise, and your people. The
yeah,
Venn diagram
yeah,
is your niche.
exactly.
There
And
it is.
like,
Thank you.
I think you can do it so many different ways. And
Mhm.
instead of trying to like niche your whole business,
Mhm.
niche an offer, niche a phase of your day, your season of life, like whatever,
Yeah.
But I like that Venn diagram. I think that's actually kind of how I organically came to it. I wouldn't have put it
Yeah.
in a Venn diagram, but I was like, I don't want to do the I help statements because my brain was like, I this is Mad Libs and I never loved that anyways.
Mhm.
and but I was like, okay, this is what I'm like nerd out about. This is the experience I have. I don't want to just work with anyone. I want to work with people who we can do the circular conversation tangents and make sense to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's such a different when you talk to someone who's neurodivergent, you don't lose the tangents. Whereas, like, when I'm trying to talk to someone who's obviously not, I'm like, focus, focus.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. There are actually a lot of studies because, like, for example, autistic people, one of the, like, diagnostic traits is, I can't remember the exact phrasing, but it's like struggles with social cues or struggles to maintain social relationships. And that's actually not accurate. That's not an
no,
accurate description.
it's not.
That is specifically from a neurotypical perspective. So
Exactly.
studies actually show that neurodivergent people, when pairing together, I can't remember if the study was on adults or children, but when pairing together neurotypical people with neurotypical people, smooth communication.
Yes.
Neurodivergent people with neurodivergent people, smooth communication.
Crazy.
Neurodivergent people with neurotypical people, poor communication.
Yes. The
Any
devil.
of us could have told you that.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I actually know exactly what you're talking about the double empathy, like studies that this
Oh,
kind of
yeah. The
started.
double
Yeah.
empathy problem is so
Yes.
fascinating.
And that's kind of the core of what they talked about. And the person I watched a talk do, it was a TEDx talk. And I actually worked with them in my previous life. And
Cool.
yeah, it was ironic. I didn't know I was autistic at the time and I worked for an autistic society. But when they were talking about it and they kind of likened it to that telephone game when you're kids.
Yeah, that's what I've
And I
heard
was
as well.
like, oh yeah, that makes so
Yeah,
much
that makes
sense.
sense. That makes a lot of
And it
sense.
makes sense. I never so I think that's why it took so long for me to even be like, I knew ADHD early on.
Mhm.
I think that was not easy because as we know, it's not, they think it's a boy's disease for a long time. But
Yeah, they think it's a boy's disorder.
right, and it looks a certain way. And I remember growing up and my brother got diagnosed with ADD and I was like, someone said I was later on in life. I was like, I read, I focus really well because that's
Mhm.
all like I
I get
knew.
good grades. I can't be ADHD.
Yeah, no, no, no. I can focus for hours on end. And it's like, yeah, but if someone
Oh, yeah,
talks to
that's what we're
me,
talking about.
yeah, yeah. But if someone talks to me, I didn't hear them. Totally
Mhm.
normal. Totally
Mhm.
normal. Hmm.
Or the audio processing or someone
Yeah.
talks to me and it takes a solid, like, 2-second beat before I'm like, "Got it."
Yes. Yes. And if someone tries to do, and I think this is not exactly the neurodivergent thing always, but like if someone tries to give me a phone number, I
Oh
get
god, no.
three.
Or
Three.
directions. Someone gives
Yeah.
me verbal directions, I'm like, at this point, I'm like, "No, absolutely not.
No.
You will text it to me, you will give me the
Yes.
Google Maps coordinates, or you will
Yes.
write it down. Those are your
Yes.
options."
And conversely, if someone and I think everybody differs with this, I'm not as visual. So I'm
Mm.
such a like words, like give me directions in a, map quest, like step by step. you
Mhm,
know.
mhm.
So my friend used to show me like the map, like here's where we're going. I was like, that means nothing to me. Like
Mhm.
I see a squiggly line, that's not telling me anything.
Yeah.
Like I need the directions.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think it's just so fascinating. And once you start to unmask or even just learn about what it means and all those things you used to think were wrong with you are just
Mhm.
your brain works differently. I
Mhm.
think it's really interesting. And at that point for me, and I know it's probably not for everyone, I was just like, I don't want to work with someone I have a hard time communicating with that's going to make me feel
Yeah.
like I'm like wrong, you know?
Mhm.
So that was definitely a part of it. And the other part was I was already really passionate about you can do business any way you want before I got
Mhm.
my diagnosis. And then, of course, doubled down on that shit afterwards. I was like,
Yeah.
you really can do it any way you
You really
want.
can.
You
Yeah,
really
you really
can.
can.
Yeah.
And then you get in the online business space and you're bombarded with all these gurus and Instagram
Oh my
ads
gosh.
telling you you have to get on Clubhouse. You like back
Yeah.
when Clubhouse
Well,
was a
yeah.
thing, or you have to do reels, or you have
Right.
to do X, Y, and Z in order to be successful in 2020, whatever. And it's like, oh shit. Oh, like if you're new to the online business world, you're like, oh, great. Thank you for handing me the formula to success.
Yes.
And then you do it and you're like, what? I hate this, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's what
Yes.
they said and I want to be successful. And
Yes.
then you're burnt out and crispy and you can't actually do the thing. And also, you're showing up in a way that you don't actually enjoy. And so, your like spark, the
Yeah.
way is how I talk about it,
Yeah.
is not visible. People
Yeah.
can't experience your spark if you're creating marketing in a format that you hate.
Yeah.
And so, then it doesn't work for you. You're not getting
No.
results. And you're like, but it's a proven roadmap.
Mhm. That proven word has gotten thrown around,
Mm-hmm.
and at this point, I'm like, please only use it if it is a scientific study that has been tested by peers
Yes.
and has multiple experiments, because it doesn't actually
Yeah.
work when you're just proven because you did it once.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's
not
not proven.
proven.
That's a
That's
case
a
study.
exactly. And I think to what you're saying, because I was miserable in my corporate thing, doing really well, right? Because overachiever, but burnt out
Yeah.
and didn't realize it at the time. And
Mhm.
then TikTok, back when it kind of blew up, I started seeing these people talk about you can be a VA from home making whatever.
Mm.
I was like, I have the skills to do that, probably more than that. I was like,
Mhm.
and started researching, and the rabbit hole. Like so many, even back then, so many like, do it this way, or
Mhm.
cold DM people. I was like, absolutely not. Never, never, never. Because
And
I had
this
that.
was what, 2019?
So I
2018?
started
I can't remember when
looking
TikTok
in
blew up.
2019, and then the
Yeah.
TikTok started, like, went down a whole, I'm going to do Facebook ads thing in 2019. Um, but so like 21, like I started to
Yeah.
see it on TikTok because it was starting to get like annoyingly
Because of the
big.
2020
Yeah.
boom and people were
Yeah.
talking about it. Yeah. Mhm.
And then officially started the VA in the summer of 2022. And
Mhm.
I've, it's interesting looking back, the program I ended up finding that worked to get me like off the ground,
Mhm.
oddly enough, was like, you don't have to do it that like how everybody's saying. Crazy that that's what worked for my brain.
Huh.
Like
Huh.
you don't need a website. You just need like a one pager to kind of say this is what I do. And so I didn't have a website till this year. Like I was like I
That
didn't
yeah, I
need.
love that.
Yeah, I was like I
I
didn't
love
need
that.
it because I was working in done for you services. It was a lot of referrals, which
Referral marketing. Yeah.
yeah, ended up not being the most sustainable. So,
No, yeah, but it's what gets you like the
it got me
most
going.
sustainable or the most quote unquote strategic thing is not what you need in the beginning of your
No,
business
no.
or even the beginning of an offer. When I create a new course, still
Yeah,
to this day, I have a very strict process where I create it as a paid life training.
yeah.
And because I'm not going to sit down and record 8 modules of videos to myself alone in my office. That's boring as fuck.
No,
And I will not do it. And it will take me a year. And by
yeah.
the time I finish, it will be irrelevant content.
Well, and
And
you need the,
so
like, feedback. Like, is this
my
landing?
courses, I have the idea if there's room in my schedule or like it feels like it's time,
Yeah.
it's like a 3-week process to create a course
Nice.
from like idea to outline to marketing to actually running the thing, running the
Yeah,
paid life training. And then as soon as the paid life training is up, the price doubles and it's a
yeah.
course on my website now.
See? And that's, and there's so many people who, God, I worked for so many coaches when I was doing like the VA OBM, and it was pre-launch, big launch, free
No.
training. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
and
And
you
like,
bought,
I understand that doing
I do.
pre launch content is extremely valuable and
Absolutely.
strategic. And that's
Absolutely.
great. And my ADHD won't let that happen.
No,
It's just
I,
not going to happen.
no.
I've tried.
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm just anytime, and that's why I recently purchased your What the Fuck Do I Post? training because I was just
Mm.
like, I want the strategic part of me because I talk about what I nerd out on. Give me every strategy. So then I have this nice little bag that when I'm working with someone, I could be like, we could pick this piece or this piece. Love it.
Mhm.
When it comes to my own business, it's so much noise that I'm like, what am I supposed to be
Yes.
posting? Wait, what is it supposed to say?
Yes.
What formula? Wait, what? Like,
We are classic examples of the cobbler's kids have no shoes.
oh my God, right. We're just too
Yeah.
close. Like, so, like, it's so almost impossible. And
Yeah.
I keep trying. Like, I'll figure it out. I can do it myself. I
Mhm.
don't, it's probably the hyper independent thing, but like you want to be your own best case study. I just don't feel like that
Yeah.
works when your brain is as
No.
noisy as ours is.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and also it's also recognizing like, okay, what skills come naturally to you in terms of engaging with your own thought leadership and
yeah,
your own ideas and stuff.
yeah,
And what I've been doing this year actually has been really wild for me. So historically, like basically my only content, I don't publish on social media. My
yeah,
only content really at this moment is my summit that I run annually, and that's the main way that I get new subscribers.
yeah,
And then I send emails almost
yeah,
every week. And
yeah,
that's my entire content marketing ecosystem. And
yeah,
that works for me.
yeah,
And I just like people plan their emails ahead of time. I don't. I sit down on whatever day of the week that I am feeling vibey with the creative juices and I have something interesting to say. And I try to do it every single week. And
yeah,
even if I don't have something interesting to say, I usually find it by the time I sit down to the Google Doc.
sure,
But and I just write what feels relevant in the moment
yeah,
or feels spicy in my brain at the moment, or if
yeah,
there's something going on in the world. And
sure,
it always slaps
yeah, of course,
because it resonates with people. It was really authentic.
yeah,
But what I have always struggled with historically was being able to track. So, like, what I just described is like me being very like on boots on the ground with
yeah,
my own brain in
sure,
the moment. And I can see lots of individual trees, but I
right,
have struggled historically with seeing the whole forest of my own thought leadership.
of course.
Until recently,
Ooh,
I have been very intimate with my Claude AI
mm-hmm.
bot, and then Kit released their MCP
Yeah,
to integrate natively with Claude, and I
yeah,
was like, "This is my moment," and
this is it.
I this is it. And I just told Claude, I was like, "Hey, I know my thought leadership about neurodivergent entrepreneurship has evolved over the last 5 years. Please go into my kit and
Mm,
analyze
mm,
all of my broadcast emails
yeah,
minus launch emails minus
yeah,
emails to individual segments like here's
yeah,
your replay, like
or like an
obviously I don't want
affiliate
that.
thing or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
mm-hmm.
And analyze how my thought leadership has evolved from 2022 to now, because that's when I
Yeah,
signed up for Kit.
yeah,
And holy shit, it was
mm,
game changing. And that's
uh,
exactly the kind of thing that I think is absolutely critical for neurodivergent
yeah,
entrepreneurs is recognize where you're strongest and
yeah,
lean into that and then
yeah,
just figure out simple systems that work
yeah,
to kind of do the things that you're bad at. Or if those tools don't exist yet,
yeah,
I bet if you just kind of ignore it for now while you figure everything else out, nothing's going to fall apart
no, and I think that
because it's been 10 years, 9 years, however long it's been,
ooh,
and it's been fine.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm my breadwinner for my family.
okay, yeah, so see, that's important to know, and I think
Yeah.
it's again, there's so many and tell me if this because I've used this term before in this context, tell me if it's not okay. To me, the binary marketing, if not this, then you're bad.
Yeah.
Or if you don't do this or this is dead, do this. That like
Mhm.
very black and white kind of
Also
2 lane thingy.
moralistic.
Yes. Like all of that makes you feel like you have to have it all figured out to push go, to
Mhm.
go start. And it's hard sometimes when you're in it. And I like when I get in conversations like this, I'm like, oh, I did it with no blueprint. I did it completely opposite of what people were saying. And yet right now I find myself being like, someone has to have the answer for this, you know? And so I think it is important, like what you're saying, especially different times, maybe when you're like in a pivot or you're wanting to expand something. I think
Mhm.
that's when it can be even harder to be like, there's something here that I'm not, this isn't my strength. I need to
Mhm.
figure out something to either compensate for that or someone who can help me, like, reflect back
Yes.
to me, you know? Um,
Exactly.
I'm a verbal processor, so I like
Same.
having people I can talk it out with. I do it with myself. Sounds weird.
I do it with Claude now.
Yeah, but I just, I think it's important because it can be really hard not to be hard on yourself when you're really good at
Yeah.
some things, because a lot of us are, right? We all have
Yeah.
really different expertise, but
Yeah.
it's
I
not
feel
always
like
all
there's
helping.
something here. I've noticed a pattern with my coaching clients that a lot of us were gifted children in
Mm,
school, or were like
it's so
straight A
easy.
students, or the Hermiones, like
Yes.
JKR as a turf,
Yeah.
but
But yes.
it's a culturally resonant
I know.
metaphor.
Yes.
Um,
100%. Values not
yeah.
aligned because fuck that. But
Yeah.
also like, don't fucking take my Hermione, bitch. Like, like that's the shit. Like I
I
hate
just
when people do
anytime
it.
I mention Harry Potter, I always do a disclaimer of JKR as a
Absolutely.
turf.
Oh my god, yeah, for sure. But no,
Just
it's
to be
just
clear.
yeah, but it's relevant context. But yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, those of us who were the Hermiones, or who were the gifted children, or who were the straight A students who then go on to become entrepreneurs, there's a pattern there. And there's a lot of, especially if we have any form of ADHD,
mm,
there's a lot of like, where's my rubric?
yes,
Where are the qualifications for success? What
yeah,
chapters do I need to read in order to get the A?
exactly. And
And
there's
then we get
no,
into entrepreneurship and it's like, oh, I can do this anyway, but that means I have to figure it out.
yeah,
There's no book, there's
exciting,
no rubric,
but
there's no
also
checklist,
yes,
there's no way to do it right.
mm,
And a lot of us, I think, struggle with this feeling of if I can't guarantee an A, I just shouldn't turn it in.
oh yes. Hi, that's me,
Yeah.
100%. One
Yeah.
of my
That
first
used to be me.
well, and I hope I get to the point that I'm not, I think I'm getting there. But one of the first episodes I did when the podcast was called Breakout earlier this year was when trying to do it right is what's going wrong. And it's
Yes.
when you are searching for the right way to do something and
Mhm.
like how I'm supposed to do it to guarantee some outcome. Because
Mhm.
ultimately, at least for me, anxiety, huge thing in
Yep.
my life. I don't love uncertainty. I have to live
Yep.
with it in the world. I don't appreciate it. And I would like to speak to the manager. Um, like I don't love the whole Karen thing, but I will be one if I could talk to someone about that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but I
Sometimes you gotta
think,
get shit done.
you know, but I think in that's one of the hardest things I've had to struggle with and why I go like info searching and like
Mhm.
trying to gather all this information is I'm looking for certainty that doesn't exist
Mhm.
because my brain wants it for all the reasons we're talking about. And
Mhm.
I was never in the gifted program because for many reasons, but I was always the person that like school was easy,
Yeah.
A's, whatever.
Yeah.
And so same with college. Like everybody was like, this is so hard. I
Mhm.
was like, now granted, caveat, did not graduate college because fuck that system. I have enough credits to have a degree, but they're like, but you need like science. Bitch, I'm not going into a field with science. Like, why? Um, anyways, authority issues. Who? What? Um,
Mm.
mm. But I just so then yeah, you get into this thing and there is no like, and then you have these people coming in. I mean, like, here's this proven process.
Yeah.
Follow this step by step, and you're gonna get X. You're gonna get that A. And it
Mhm.
is and they're to be fair, these people
It's
are
a marketing
really
scheme.
they're really good at marketing, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, no shade on that, shade on how you're
Yeah.
doing it, but
Yeah.
that's just
And I have
really
no
good
problem
marketing.
with like teaching, this is how I did this and achieve
Yeah.
success. You can do it too. But
Yeah.
you need to you say that. You need to position it that way
Yes.
and not say, this is the way to do it, or this is a proven process. Like,
Yes.
listen, this is how I did it, and I will teach you how I did it and got results.
Yes. Yes, and I think that's the transparency thing that I think I mentioned
Yeah.
to you on one of our other calls that I really appreciate
Hmm.
about your stuff is so many sales pages, even people I worked with, I'd be like I'd see these screenshots and I'd be like this is from a program that you, one, no longer run, two,
Mhm.
like has completely different outcomes than what you're trying to
Mhm.
sell. And you're posting it great for like, it gives a like, oh, she's helped people kind of like, you know, but no transparency. And then I go to your site, I think one of the first times, and I was looking at one of your products and you had that transparency note under the screenshots. And I was like,
Mhm.
why is this not
Yeah, so
everybody
for
doing that?
context for people listening,
Yeah.
on most of my sales pages, probably the old ones I haven't done this to yet, but, there's some testimonials or screenshots at the top of the testimonial section that are, like, from the actual program for the sales
Yeah.
page you're reading, and then sometimes there's a, like, a section of screenshots or testimonials that are from other programs,
Right.
because usually when I create those sales pages, again, like I said, they start as
Yeah.
paid life trainings, and so
Right.
I'm selling a thing that I don't have testimonials for, and so
Right.
I do that and just say,
Mhm.
"These are things that my past students have said about other programs." And then afterwards, I go in and add the ones at the top.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's totally fair. Like I said,
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with doing it. I just wish people I think so many of us neurodivergents who we don't appreciate lies or falsehoods or manipulation and we can spot it from a mile away like we are natural BS detectors. I need you to be like I need context because you're
Yeah.
lying. You're like really skirting the lying line here and it just
Mm.
drives me nuts.
I think it's interesting, and I think autism definitely comes into play here because of
Yeah.
that literal thinking.
Yes.
And, like, there's a lot of, like, standard practices that to people who know how to play the game or know how the game works,
Yeah.
rather,
Mhm.
that's not a surprise and it doesn't come off as skeevy.
Yeah.
But to someone with very literal thinking brain who doesn't know the rules or the like how the game is played are more susceptible to manipulation.
Yeah.
And in the online business world, manipulation and psychological tricks are rife, even among people who consider them heart centered or ethically minded or whatever,
Yes.
because the heritage and the ancestry of what we've learned has been passed down from teacher to teacher to teacher to teacher. And it all starts with some white guy in the 40s who's
Mm.
like, I can psychologically manipulate people into buying
Yes.
cigarettes.
Yes. That
And
worked out
like,
well. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah. Well, financially for those people, but not so much for people,
Right, and, like,
who
they're
it's okay.
and that's the point, is their
Yeah.
processes worked to
Yes.
sell a dangerous product
Yeah.
to the point that it had to have now has, like, big black "cigarettes are dangerous" bands
Yeah.
on them,
Yeah.
but, like, that's the origin of most of these, like,
Yeah.
psychological copywriting tricks and bullshit like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
And it's just been passed down from salesperson to marketer to marketer to marketer
Mhm.
until it gets to us. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, the person that you learned it from, you trust and they have good vibes, but the ancestry of what they've learned and then
Yeah.
what they taught is not great.
No,
And it really takes a lot of savviness, which takes time to accrue
it
to
does.
be able to decipher the gold nuggets of what's actually useful marketing advice
Yeah.
from the muck.
Yeah. And if marketing, it's a skill, right? And I think
Mhm.
when I came into the space, I was like, I had done sales for a wedding venue, was really good at it because it was in person. I love the relational sales. I love kind of tailoring it to the person I'm talking to. Spoiler alert, I was good at reading people. And, like that's what I was coming from. That's how I sell to this day. I get on a call with someone,
Mhm.
I help them with something. If they're interested, I'm like, cool, I'll send you some information. I don't do the whole, I can't do it. I just don't like it. And so I think, coming from that and then coming into online space and seeing all this stuff, and then I'm working with coaches who I'm literally seeing the back end of their business. And then they send out these emails. And I'm like, um, I know for a fact you're lying. And you think it's okay because it's kind of the truth. And your
Yeah.
your coach kind of told you it's fine. Like
Mhm.
you want to position it that way. And it's like, okay,
Mhm.
here's the thing about positioning. If it's based on kind of true
Yeah.
and a little bit of overselling, I don't love it. And I can feel
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah.
Like this one client who we did not end on good terms, but she was like started sending these emails. I sold out my retreat and before it even opened. And I was like, that's funny because I'm helping you plan the retreat. And we went from wanting 20 spots to being like, we're just going to get 10 to I'm going to give it to a couple of my one-on-one clients. So how did you sell that out again? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, so technically, was it true? Sure. Because she adjusted her
Because
target.
you cut the number of spots in half.
Yes. And you gave away some spots. You didn't sell them because they were already clients. So I was
Yeah.
like, no, that's no,
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 that's not what happened.
no. And I think if you're not like in the back end, haven't seen this kind of stuff, haven't maybe studied marketing or something in previous life, like
Mhm.
it is hard to discern because it looks, people
Mhm.
are very, this is the truth.
Yeah.
And they're 100% behind it. And you're like,
Mhm.
really? Because I've been trying for 2 years and this shit is hard, you know?
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
you like spiral and you're like, why can't I do this? Well, because they're not actually being truthful,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
It's so frustrating because a lot of us learn business, yes, by taking courses and having coaches and
mhm,
all of that, but also by watching other people in the space.
yeah,
And there's a lot of deception
yeah,
about, like, a lot of people, especially quote unquote gurus,
mm,
are like performing success and performing capability
mhm,
almost,
yeah,
and like that their business isn't a hot mess.
yeah,
And that's not actually the case.
mm-mm,
Or they're performing, look how wonderful my life is and successful my business is, but they're not showing that their marriage is falling apart or they
yeah,
never talk to their kids or like
yeah,
something like that. And it's like, listen,
yeah,
this is bullshit.
yeah,
Like, please
yeah,
stop the song and dance.
yeah,
And let's all just be honest about the fact that building a business is fucking hard.
yeah. And
It's
there's
fucking hard. And it's
so
incredibly
hard.
fulfilling if you're meant for it.
Yeah,
And if you're not, that's fine. Like, if you quit your business and go get a job, good for you, bitch. I love that.